Hi there, wherever you're watching this, thanks for taking the time to watch our video. I'm Nikki, this is my husband Taylor, and our daughters Addison and Millie.
Before we get too far in sharing about ourselves, we want to take just a second to tell you that this video, this is not a sales pitch. We aren't trying to sell you on choosing us as a family. The purpose of this video and our profile is just to give you a snapshot of who we are as a family so you can make an educated decision, one that feels right to you, no matter if that means choosing us or not. We truly believe that God is in control of this, and He's working in your life, and He's working in our lives, and the lives of other expecting mothers all at once. We trust that He will connect us with the right birth mother and you with the right family.
And regardless of whether or not we're a good match, we want you to know that we see you, we care about your story, and we want the best for you.
There are so many factors to consider and emotions to work through, and we want you to know that we have so much respect for you right where you are.
Now that we've laid the foundation and explained what we're doing here, thanks again for taking the time just to consider us as adoptive parents for your child. We spent a lot of time trying to put together the most honest look into our life as a family, so let's dive in.
So I'm Taylor.
And I'm Nikki. We've been happily married for 8 years, and even after this long, we still love to be around each other. We met at a church in Chicago way back when, and after some dating, we found ourselves with an unplanned pregnancy. We were shocked, scared, and honestly, we had no idea what we should do.
Yeah, it was pretty overwhelming, but thankfully we had a community that came around us and supported us, and in 2013 we welcomed our first child, Addison. Shortly after she was born, we got married, and we realized that our time in Chicago was coming to a close. And so we packed up our stuff and we moved to Texas, where I grew up and where we had some family.
So why are we telling you this? It's because we've been where you are. We've sat in the middle of an unplanned pregnancy, and God guided us through it, one foot in front of the other, day after day. And 8 years later, here we are. We're in our 30s, we've got 2 beautiful children, and we love our life. We wouldn't change a thing. Yes, your journey is different than ours, but the point is that God makes good things out of some of the hardest times, so you can trust that.
Like I said, I'm from Texas, born and raised. As a kid, I lived in a lower income neighborhood in South Dallas and moved to the suburbs, to the northern suburbs when I went to high school. I have 2 sisters, one older half sister and one younger sister that I grew up living in the same house with as a kid. I've always been pretty adventurous, and so it made sense that after graduating from high school, I got out of town and I moved straight to Chicago to explore all the world had to offer. From there, I began a professional career in graphic design, and I now work for a church as the director of communications. I work a mile from home, and I love the flexibility in my job because it allows me to be home with the family as much as I can be. My mom always taught me to do what's right. Even if it doesn't benefit me, try to do the right thing. So that kind of upbringing mixed with my personality, my childhood friends, environment, experiences, all that has made me passionate about using whatever influence I have to advocate for the people that feel marginalized. In addition to playing music and being around people, I like cycling, I like working on home projects, and building stuff.
Now, a little bit about me. I'm Colombian, and I was born in Miami. I was the first person in my family to be born in the United States. I grew up in a multi-generational household with my mom and grandma all living in the same house. The neighborhood I grew up in as a kid was almost entirely Hispanic, and my family only spoke Spanish at home. Taylor and I were actually raised both by single moms, and for me, because of that, I spent a lot of time just taking care of myself from a really young age. I graduated from high school, I moved to Chicago for college, and I earned a Bachelor of Science in biology. I used to work for pharmaceutical companies, but since having kids, I felt more of a calling to use my creativity. So I've worked as a creative doing custom art pieces, event planning. I've been able to work from home since I had Addison in 2013. And while it's exhausting, it's been so amazing to spend these early years at home with the kids. Because I grew up in a house that spoke English as a second language, and since Taylor and I have been exposed to a lot of diversity in our lives, it's been important for us to have our kids experience a range of cultures beyond our own. The girls go to a Spanish immersion school, and we intentionally moved to a really diverse neighborhood just to surround ourselves with people that don't look like us. We've always dreamed of having a diverse family unit where various cultures are celebrated and perhaps one day even represented in our family. I love playing tennis, and I'm currently trying to read more books. All right, so we have two biological kids, Addison, who's 8, and Amelia, who's 4. They're about 4 years apart, but they play together constantly and love using their imaginations. Addison is such a great big sister. She's sweet, sensitive, and wants to be with people all the time. Millie is a little more shy, but she loves to laugh when she warms up. While Millie is younger, she's super smart and can hang with the big kids. They're both learning how to play tennis and have recently just started trying out ice skating. When we started talking about the idea of adoption with them, they've said, we have room in our hearts and our house for another baby. Millie is so ready to be a big sister, and Addie is just as excited to have another sibling to love on.
So we have a dog named Mango. He's an Aussie Doodle, which is a mix between an Australian Shepherd and a standard poodle. Mango is just about a year old, and he makes for a really great playmate for the kids. They run around the house and the yard daily, all the time, which is great because that's all he wants to do is be with his people. When he was a puppy, we brought him home and we hired a personal trainer to help with his manners. So he knows the basics. He knows sit, stay, down, off, speak. He's learning how to play hide and seek. He's a puppy and he does puppy things, but all things considered, he's a really well-behaved dog that loves his family.
For fun as a family, we love to hang out with our friends, and most of them have kids too. We've got a great backyard. We love to grill out, host little pool parties and things like that. We enjoy going on hikes, riding bikes, visiting the farmer's market on Saturdays, playing tennis, going to the zoo. Traveling is also a big one for us. Experiences and memories are something we try to prioritize. We go almost everywhere together as a family, even if it's just to run errands and things like that. That said, the kids also have plenty of independent play and love doing art projects, dancing, exploring, building forts, things like that. Taylor goes to the office Monday through Thursday, and because he works so close, we usually have lunch together throughout the day. I work part-time from home and take care of the house, homeschooling kids, taking them to Spanish, going to the pool or park with friends.
So we have both felt independently called to adoption. So it's always felt like a natural progression for us. We explored adoption methods and learned more about the process several years ago. And if you don't know by now, it's pretty complicated. The timing just didn't feel quite right, and so we decided to have a biological second. But after Millie was born, we began exploring adoption again. It took us nearly 4 years to officially begin the process, but here we are.
We want to make a few commitments to you should we both decide to move forward in this process. We promise to love your child as our own. We promise to teach your child about Jesus and how God is always present. Yeah. He's always working things out for our good, even if it doesn't feel good.
We promise to take care of your child and give them the opportunity to grow and thrive in the world. We promise to honor you as we talk about the story that led us to being his or her parents. Thank you for simply taking the time to watch this video and learn about us.